record this for Zach. He's been here, what, 3 days last week, so he's due for about a week off. Yes, I recorded that, Zach. So if you're watching this, yes, I did say that.
You better email me personally.
That's right.
Asking me.
So, yeah, you better email me personally there. You heard Bigelow say that, Zach. Okay, that's definitely a function. But if I go like this, it's no longer, I don't want that. I can negative 8. That's no longer a function. Anybody know why?
Maybe,
Yeah, if I graphed those points, it would fail the vertical line test. How can you tell it would fail the vertical line test? So I look at it.
because
If I change it to this, now it's a function. It's a
Yeah.
function now.
you can't have the same x value with different y value.
Right. Every x has only one y value. Every x has only one y value. Okay. Now, that is a now it's a function. Now it is a function. Okay. Now, this isn't what this section is about, though. They ask, is it a one-to-one function? Okay. That is a one-to-one function. That's not only a function, that actually is a one-to-one function. Okay. If I go like this,
Is it because it starts at 1 and ends at
is this a function?
1? Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's not a one-to-one function anymore, though. Any idea why?
Because I have to end the x value.
What's it? I think you guys are saying it. Speak up. I think the three of you all kind of said it. Exactly. A function is every x has one y. A one-to-one function not only has that, but every y, what? Has one x, okay? So for example, your test scores is a function. Every person gets one test score. Is it a one-to-one function? This particular was definitely not a one-to-one function. That means every score goes to one person. Why was this test almost, before I even graded it, I was almost certain it wouldn't be a one-to-one function.
Pairs.
You were in pairs. So you basically got, I think it might have been one person that didn't get the same score as their partner because they didn't have the same answers. But most of you, so if Cassie got a 94, who's your partner? Alexis got a 94. Is that what you got, 94? Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, every score doesn't go to one person, okay? Some things in life are one-to-one functions, okay? Like for example, I don't know if you guys can answer that. You should be able to answer. I think you guys know my schedule enough. Is my schedule a one-to-one function? First off, is it a function? My class period to classes. Does every class period have one class? For me, my schedule. Mr. Cato's first hour. That's not what I'm saying. Every class period, period number 1 goes to just one class. Is that correct? Yes. I don't teach 2 classes at once. Okay. But does every class go to just one period?
No.
That's what you're saying. It's not. It's a function. It's not one-to-one. Because my Algebra 2 class goes to first hour and second hour and 7th hour. Okay. So if I threw those classes out, though, if I only counted pre-calc and FST, the highest level math classes, that would be a one-to-one function. Because each of my class periods has only one high-level math class. And each of those high-level math classes, I only have, 5th hour goes to FST. FST only goes to 5th hour. 6th hour goes to pre-calc. Pre-calc only goes to 6th hour. Okay? So that would be a one-to-one function. Okay? So, see if you guys can fill this out. Okay? Meerkat already said this. Okay? If I gave you a graph, how can you tell from a graph, rather than, I didn't give you a graph right there. Okay? How can you tell from a graph if a graph is a function or not? Passes the vertical line test. I haven't told you this yet. Hopefully you can figure it out though. How can you tell if a graph is a one-to-one function? It's a horizontal line test, okay? You gotta be careful on that though, okay? If I give you this graph right here, does this pass? First off, is that a function? Yes, it is. Why? Passes the vertical line test. Is it a one-to-one function? No, why? It fails the horizontal line test. It's a function. It's not one-to-one, okay? How about this? Is that a function? Yep, it's a one-to-one function. Yep. Be careful, though. What if I gave you this? Answer what I ask. Does that pass the horizontal line test?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Is that a one-to-one function then? No, it's not. In order to be a one-to-one function, first off, what? It's got to be a function, and that isn't. Why? doesn't pass the vertical line test. So in order to be a one-to-one function, first it's got to be a function, then it's got to be passing the horizontal line test. It's got to pass both tests, okay? Just keep that in mind, okay? All right, so that's what this section is about, all right? So let's start this thing. Okay, so let's look at exercise number one. If you want to do these, you can. Definitely cross off 21 through 24. And I'm not sure if we're going to do 17 through 20. I'm not sure yet. I don't know. So cross off 21 through 24. We may eventually cross off 17 through 20. I don't know yet, okay? All right. So I want to make sure. If I gave you this, I'm just going to make up some questions here on numbers 1 and 2, okay? So look at question number, let's just look at question 1, okay? If I tell you, I'm going to make up a question. I'm just going to make something up here, okay? If I ask you this right here, I want to make sure. If I give you this right here, what would f of 2 be if I give you that information? 8. I don't want you to do any calculating. How did you do that?
F of x and 2 and then 8.
Right, so basically what I'm telling you, what information am I giving you here?
It's not g or x.
Okay, what am I telling you? I'm telling you the what value? The x value is 2, and I'm asking you for the y value, which is f of whatever. How about, why'd you look at this? Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna change this. Should have done that in the first place. How about f of 3? 9. Okay? Good. Okay, how about g of 2? 10. How'd you get that? I thought it was 8. Right. These ones you gotta look for the f function. These ones you gotta look for the g function. You got that? Okay. Just want to make sure. I'm not trying to trick you. I just want to make sure because that's what they're going to ask you on this. Now, what if I give you this? See if you guys can figure this thing out. That looks like f to the negative first power. If you remember from algebra 2, that's not f to the negative first. That's the inverse of f. The inverse of f. Any idea what the heck that is?
Is it 2?
How'd you get 2? It's definitely 2. How'd you do it?
Because it's the inverse.
So what I'm saying here is, what am I giving you here? What value?
1y.
I'm giving you the y value. I'm asking you for the x. Okay. So what would g inverse of 7 be? 3. Good. You see the difference? Okay. Let's do number 1. Once you know how to do these are real simple. Okay. So f. We're on number 1 right here, part A. What's f inverse? We're only looking at number 1. Okay. Don't look at number 2. Do not look at number 2. What's f inverse of 5? How'd you do that? You looked at which function? The f function or the g function? F. And I gave you the y value of 5. I asked you for the x value is 4. What's g inverse of 6? Keep looking. 1 and 5. So let me ask you this. Is the g function on number 1, is it a function?
No.
No, it's not. I mean, look at the look at the box.
It's not.
What is? Oh wait, yes it is. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yes it is. It's a function. What does 1 go to on the g function?
It goes to.
You gotta look at your paper. 6. Only 6. What does 3 go to? Only 2. And what does 5 go to? Only 6. Is it a 1-to-1 function? No, because 6 goes to what? 1 and 5. How about the f function on number 1? The f one. I said function. It may or may not. Is it a function? The f function on number 1?
Looks like.
Why?
Doesn't know.
Because 2 goes to what?
3.
Only 3. 4 goes only to 5, and 6 only goes to 9. Is it a 1-to-1 function? Yes, because every y goes to only 1x. So they're not asking you this. I just want to make sure you understand. Okay? All right. Let's look at number 3. Just remember those graphs say 1-to-1 function. Is 3a, first off, is it a function? Yes, why? Pass the vertical line test. Is it a 1-to-1 function?
Yes.
Why?
Because
Pass the horizontal line test. Part B.
See?
Is part B a one-to-one? Is it a function? On part B? Yep. Yes, it is. It's a function. It, pass the vertical line test. Is it a one-to-one function? So it's not a one-to-one function. It's a function. We'll write down function, but parentheses, not one-to-one. It's not a one-to-one function. Is C a one-to-one function? Why? Or no and yeah, which is it? No, it's not. Why? It's not a function. Why? Fails vertical line test. It's not even a function. Number 5. Okay, they want you to determine whether the function is one-to-one. I think the easiest way to determine if it's a one-to-one function, any guesses how we might want to do these? They don't tell you to do it. I'm going to though. We're going to graph it. We're going to graph this thing. What the heck does f of x equals 3x minus 7 look like?
You do -7.
What does this thing look like? You better be able to answer this. It's a line. Down 7. Rise 3, run 1. Is it a function?
Which seems
Yeah, pass the vertical line test. Is it a one-to-one function? Yeah, it's a one-to-one function. True or false? All lines are one-to-one functions. What do you think? True or false? Every single line is a one-to-one function.
if a line is just straightforward, I'd say yeah.
What do you mean straight? Every line's straight. There's no such thing as a curved line.
Well then, yes.
I think I know what you meant to say, but maybe not. No. Not every line's a one-to-one function. Everybody think about not every line's a function even. You think of a line that fails
An
a
undefined line, no.
what do you mean?
The ones that go like this. Those
Vertical.
are-
That's not even a function.
Yeah.
Okay? That's not a function because it fails a vertical line test.
Yeah, what
Is this a one-to-one function?
No.
Is it a function?
Yes.
Is it a one-to-one function?
Yes. No, this one isn't?
No.
No.
It's a function because it passes vertical line test.
But
Does
horizontal
it fails
all the way through.
if it goes straight through?
All on the same
Same line.
Oh
So,
my God.
how about this? Other than vertical and horizontal lines, are all diagonal lines one-to-one functions? Yes. All diagonal lines. Now, if you're going, well, what if we have a line that's curved? There's no such thing as a curved line. Lines, by definition, have to be straight. Okay.
In my own head, I was right.
That doesn't matter.
No.
Okay, that's
Like,
back
I
to
know
two.
what I meant, and I think I'm.
Okay, let's graph this thing. What the heck does this thing look like? Oh, so right here,
We were out.
it's a parabola. What's that minus 9 do?
Drops.
9 down, opens up. Is it a function?
Let's see.
Yes.
Why?
It's not a one-to-one.
Why is it a function?
Vertical.
Why is it not one-to-one?
Or-
What about horizontal?
Okay.
It fails a horizontal line test. What are they asking? Is it a one-to-one function? It's a function, but not one-to-one. Number 9. You guys remember what this thing looks like? That's the radical x. We don't spend a whole lot of time in these in algebra 2.
Was that the exponential?
No, it looks sort of like this. It looks like half of a sideways parabola.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. Is that a function? Yes, it is. Is it a one-to-one function?
Yeah, I forget
Yes,
what you
it is.
actually called them, but I just remember going over if it was like exponential growth or decay.
Oh, those kind of look like this. That's what exponential growth looks like. This is a one-to-one function.
What was that one called?
I call them a radical function.
Because I'm sure he remembers, because you know he went through it too. But we had to like figure out what was the rate it changed and how much it slowed down reaching the top, because it doesn't change the same rate the whole time.
Right. Well, it's not exponential though. The exponential would form like y equals 3 times 2 to the x powers. I mean, if you graph these things, I mean, if you plugged in values for x, you'd find it looks like if I went like this, it looks like it's like y equals x squared, but it's turned on its side, it's just the top half of it. If I put a negative in front of it, it'd be the bottom half of it. So,
I just remember it being something like the amount is going up by y decreases as time goes on through x. So like let's say it
you
goes.
talking about math science center stuff or something?
Yeah, because we had to figure out what the exponential decay was, because let's let's say X from on X 1 to 2,
Uh-huh.
it goes up 5y.
Mhm.
2 to 3, it goes up 2y.
Right.
And then
But again, we're not talking about, this isn't an exponential function. Exponential functions have to have an exponent that's x. Okay? It's not just like, this is, radical x is x to the half power.
Just curious, isn't that like half of the x cubed radical?
No, x cubed looks somewhere like this. X cubed goes, it's like, x squared's like this, x cubed goes like that.
Yeah, I know, that's like one element.
Yeah, it curves this way.
It's like a flipped version.
Or I just think, to me, the easiest way to do it is it's x squared, turned on its side, but it's just the top half of
I
it.
don't even know what we're talking
I don't either.
about. Let's just go back.
He keeps talking about exponential, which is just fine, but that's not what we're talking about, it's exponential functions right now.
I did this for a year. No, I didn't.
Okay, number 11.
We tried to fail.
No, that's why it's back here. Okay, you guys remember what this one looks like? Absolute value? You guys remember what that thing looks like? Beginning of algebra 2, we did it. No, remember that one? It's a real simple description. I don't think it even has a fancy name for it. It looks like a V. Look at that, they kind of look like V's. Yeah, but they're not, I mean, it looks like a V, so. Okay, so, is that a function? Is it 1 to 1? No. Okay. And the reason is this. Every number has only one absolute value. Okay? Like I gave you 12. What's the absolute value of 12? Only 12. What's the absolute value of negative 6? Positive 6. But does the absolute value of a number only have, let me say it this way. Every number has only one absolute value. Does an absolute value only have one number that you can take of it? For example, if I take the absolute value of something, get 6 for an answer, the number I could have taken the absolute value of could have been what? Negative 6 or positive 6. It could be either one. What I'm saying is this. If I take the absolute value of negative 7, you only get one answer, 7. If I take the absolute value of 8, you only get one answer, 8. If I take the absolute value of something, I get 10 for an answer. What has to be in there? 10 or negative 10. There's two values I could have plugged in there. Okay? All right, so that's function, but not 1 to 1. Okay, f of x. I'm going to make it y equals. Be impressed if you guys don't know what this thing looks like. We did do this last year. I think it was near the end of the year last year. Any idea what the heck this thing looks like? Give you a clue. Let's square both sides. If I square this, we'll have y squared. If I square this, what happens to the radical? It disappears. Square both sides. Then let's add x squared to each side. So x squared plus y squared equals 4. What's that thing look like? X squared plus y squared equals 4. Well, if I give you this right here. That's a circle. It's a circle with a center, 3, negative 4. Where did I get that from? Where did 3, negative 4 come from? The opposite and the opposite. What's the radius? 5. Where'd 5 come from? Opposite, opposite, square root. Okay? So, since it's x squared and y squared, it's plus, it's a circle. What's the center? What did I add on? What did I add on to x? Not what did I add on to x squared. What did I add on to x? 0. What did I add on to y? So the center is what? 0, 0. What's the radius? Because half of 4 is 2? Half of 4 is 2, but it's not because half of 4 is 2. It's because what? Square root of 4 is 2. So your center is 0, 0. The radius of 2. But it's not the whole circle. It's not the whole circle. It's a half circle. Which half? The right half, the left half, the top half, or the bottom half? No. You gotta look back at the original problem.
I just guessed.
Starts off with y. Y is what directions? Up or down? Is it the top half or the bottom half? It'd be bottom if there'd be what there? Negative. It's not. So it's the top half of the circle, center 0, 0, radius 2. Top half. Is that a 1 to 1 function? Is it a function? Is that a function there? Yeah, why? Vertical line test is a one-to-one function? No, why? Fails a horizontal line test. It's a function, not one-to-one. What if it would have said this? What if it was x equals, if I switch the x and the y? Would it be a one-to-one function?
No.
Which would it be, left or right?
Fail the horizontal.
So is it a function? No.
It's,
Why?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. Why is this not a function? You just said it.
Yeah.
Fails the vertical line test. So is it a one-to-one function? There's no way it can be. How come it can't be? What's the easiest explanation?
Because it's not fun.
It's not a function. It's not a one-to-one function. It's like if you're going to be a girls basketball player, if you're not a girl, you're not a girls basketball player. That's you're already out. You can't be.
Some people think
Even if you identify, even if you don't, I mean, I'm not saying they are, but
All
we're
this
getting.
going on YouTube right now.
Next question. Oh yeah, stop recording, Kale.
Wait, so,
You have a sub tomorrow. You have a sub tomorrow. You're gonna know that my boss saw this.
what part of,
Nobody
it
watches.
tells you that it's only half of the circle?
Say it again.
What part of it tells you it's only half of the circle?
Because it was y is. It's just like right here. This was the top half. There was a negative in the bottom half. The one tells you it's half.
Like, what would be the equation for a full circle?
X squared plus y squared is 4.
Oh, okay. So if only one of them's on it, okay, I got
Yep. But it's of this form, so y is positive, so that's gonna be the top part.
Weird how a half circle can be a function of a whole circle.
Yeah. No circle can be a function. Can't even be a function.
But if we stop for a second, like, is this true?
Just gotta
I had to think if there's any kind of out on this.
loophole.
So yeah, loophole there. So it's like, did I ever tell you guys about like, have I ever explained this to you guys or not? How the angles in a triangle add up to 180? That's not always the case. If you add up the angles of a triangle, they don't always add up to.
Then when I learned geometry, I guess.
No, I'll
everything
tell you what.
was-
I'll show you. I'll give you an example. Very good. No, you're not wrong. You're sort of right.
I guess he's gonna explain why triangles don't have the 180, but I thought they did. I thought they always did. I don't know.
He needs something for a main.
He needs a tool. Because I slept through the entire algebra 2 class, and all his math class was algebra 2 class. I was sleeping, doing anything but school.
I was hoping we had basketball, but I'll have to use a baseball. So, nothing in the work. Basketball here, do I? Okay, is this even going still? Hang on. Yep, it is. So, think of this as this is a big basketball, it's easier to see, okay? Think of it as the globe, North Pole and South Pole, okay? So, if I took a marker and I drew a straight line from here straight down to there, okay? And I drew a straight line to here. What kind of angle is that?
What's it?
It's right at what angle is that? Straight down, straight
I'd say
across.
it's a right
It's a
angle.
90-degree angle. And I go up here. What kind of angle is this?
Another right angle.
Okay?
And that's another right angle.
What's 90 plus 90 plus 90?
Well, that's
That's
not.
90 plus 90 plus 90. 207, which is made again. So, would you agree that three straight lines connected form a triangle?
I
That's
would
what I did.
say yes.
Okay. Now I'll allow you to talk. What does he keep trying to say?
It's not a flat surface.
Exactly.
So it's
On a curved surface, things change. On a
Is
flat
it-
surface,
Is it a triangle at that point though?
well,
Or is
I
it
mean,
like a,
how do you draw? I mean, it's
Well, no.
straight lines on a curved surface. You can't draw
Can you
completely
draw-
straight lines on because it's curved. It is curved.
Is it considered a straight line? The
I would
line
say it
true-
is.
The line is curved.
I mean,
It
it's
is not straight. If you took
That's a
if you
great
took a
question.
string and took it from one point to the other one
Uh-huh.
and pulled it taut,
Right.
You would have your curve and then your line.
So then
Right.
it wouldn't be.
It's not a straight line. It's a curve.
And this is higher level math. It was abstract geometry. I don't have an answer to that. I don't have an answer. And I'm not going to disagree with you, but what I'm saying is, I agree we're going to have to just leave it at that because I don't have an explanation. Is a straight line on a curved surface a straight line? I can't answer that. But if you could draw a straight line on a curved surface, and I did, that's what I didn't do it, but if I did do that, on a curved surface, things are all different. You learn what's called planar geometry, flat geometry, which is kind of,
So if we're all flat.
yeah, oh yeah, it's all
So
flat.
is-
It's called Euclidean geometry. That's what you learned. They didn't call it Euclidean, but that's what it is. It's just named after a guy named Euclid. Anyhow, and it's weird though because they teach you planar geometry, but the world is round. Unless you talk to some people, they think that there's flat earthers out there that think that the world's flat. But it's weird. You only think that that's difficult because you learn flat geometry. But how about this one? And I kind of give it away right here. Parallel lines never touch, right? On a flat surface, they don't. On a curved surface, they do. I don't know if is that longitudinal, whatever. The ones like the equator is latitude. I get them mixed up. Either way, some go around, some go up. But ones that go up and down, they meet in two spots: the top, parallel at the north and south pole. So on a curved surface, all weird things happen on the curved surface. So, but,
It changes.
yeah, it changes everything. And I can remember that was a very interesting class, except for when your grade depends on it. I remember, oh, that was a hard class. I remember thinking, oh, I took geometry in high school. Oh,
Was it
not.
like math theory.
It's a lot. It's when you get beyond calculus, it's not. And most of you are not going to, unless you go into math, pure math or teaching math, you're not going to go beyond calculus. You're going to be a pharmacist. You'll take calculus, probably Calc 2 maybe Calc 3. I don't know how far you're going to have to go, but you won't have to go beyond that. And everything beyond that, it's not compute this or solve for X. It's all prove this, prove that. It's all proof. Oh, proofs are so hard. Oh, I hate proofs.
Okay, so
I never had a hard time.
I was watching
proofs
them.
and just normal geometry.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
was watching this video yesterday on the incompleteness of math because some things just can't be proven.
Haven't been proven yet.
Well, can't because some true statements physically can because the endless possibilities would have to go through is infinite. But they were mentioning there's these mathematicians that wrote 3 volumes of books going through proofs because they were trying to get like exact answers. It took 700 pages to
Yeah.
completely prove 1 + 1 = 2.
Huh.
How?
Because, well, yeah, but like he
But
did,
that's not a
well,
proof.
he did,
Yeah.
he did the simple way of teaching us, odd plus odd, odd plus negative. But like when you go in depth, if you ever possibly think you have to do, it's 700
What can you
pages. of
possibly
complex
do?
math.
That's more than.
I got to show you this. You guys might be able to appreciate this now that you guys have taken enough math and you know about proofs and stuff like that. You might be able to appreciate this.
They would for a fourth and then just put it.
See if I can find it.
I won't be able to understand anything because they have like backward E's and upside down M's.
So
Where is it at?
No. It was like it looked like an M, not a W. If that makes sense.
Oh, how's it go?
But it was an upside down M.
Yeah.
So is it W?
Well, yeah, but like it just like there's things you imagine. Like you have your normal E, and then you have like whatever. I can't even draw it.
What the heck? Are
Wait.
you drawing like a resting band or something?
No, because there's like those actual E's where it's an E in math, but then it like comes out or something, and it's weird because it's very sharp turn corners and whatnot. There's a lot of weird symbols in math. What looks like letters.
Here, I
it's not the
share
letters.
this with you guys. I always like this comic that I remember seeing years ago. Like when you're writing proofs, I mean, they're different than geometry proofs. Like I showed you those proofs on the board a week or so ago. Remember that? Like an even plus an even, okay? And those are, I'm not making fun of you guys, but those are very easy proofs. They're might be hard for you because they're new,
We
but
just haven't learned them.
no. And good luck if you do.
I'm not gonna learn them.
Let's see if you guys, you might appreciate this. I always like this cartoon. I think you can see it or not. You guys make that out what he says? He's got all this math stuff, and it says, then a miracle occurs, then he continues on. He says, I think you need to be more explicit here in step number 2. So I can remember when I was in college, in this one class, it was all proofs, and this professor, he wrote the entire board just for one proof for one problem, and it was something, we were just copying it down as fast as we could, and we were trying to keep up and all this stuff, And then he would be like, after writing the entire board that he wrote down and said, then it's obvious, it's obvious that this, and we're all just started laughing. It was like, there's nothing up on the board here that's obvious to any of us here. Because it's just, it's crazy. But yeah, it's
We just did like angle proof here.
it's different than, geometry proofs are different than higher level proofs.
Probably easier.
No, they're not.
No, the ones I did.
Oh, yeah. Geometry proofs aren't really difficult. You have to memorize all the different theorems and formulas and stuff. But algebra or higher level ones, those are, like, for example, I'm not going to do it today, but at some point this year I will prove, like, the square root of 2 is an irrational number. I'll prove it to you that it's irrational. That's one where we'll have a good discussion about that. It'd be like 0.9 repeating is equal to 1. It's kind of like that. We'll have a good discussion about that, but the square root of 2 is an irrational number.
I just turned around when you mentioned the.
Well, I did it here because I was trying to think. I was wrong. It's not 700. It's 360 pages.
Oh, that's not that much, huh?
No, it's called the
Those are really.
Principia of Mathematica.
Okay.
I'm not. It has like if they spell the words. Principia.
Oh. Huh. I've never seen that.
They only make 3 volumes because when they went to go make a 4th volume of this, they got burned out. They're like, we can't. No more.
Well, okay, let's look at number 15. Last one for today. 15. Is y equals 1 over x? Is that a one-to-one function? Well, let's graph this thing. First off, we just did a test over this. Is there any vertical asymptotes? Yeah, where? At 0. Can't have 0 on bottom, okay? And the degree of the top is 0, the degree of the bottom is 1. The degree of the top is smaller than the degree of the bottom, so if you looked at your notes, that means that it approaches 0. I mean, you just think about it. As x gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, what is 1 over it? As the number of points possible, this class keeps going up and up and up and up and up, and your total is only 1 out of that, you have 1 out of 10 points, 1 out of 20 points, 1 out of 100 points, 1 out of 1,000 points. What's happening to your grade? And what it's going to get, it's approaching what? When's it going to hit 0? Never, but it's going to get really, 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 really close to 0. Okay? If I wanted my x-intercepts, what makes the top 0? Nothing. There's no x-intercept. My y-intercept, there's no y-intercept because I have an asymptote there. Okay? So let's do this. To the right, if we pick a number in like 100, if I plug in 100, 1 over 100 is positive. So it's going to be up here. If I plug in a negative number, to the left here, like negative 100, what's 1 over negative 100? Negative. Is that a function?
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Passes vertical.
Okay, vertical line test. Is it a one-to-one function?
Yes.
Why?
Passes horizontal.
Now, just so you understand, I want to make sure you get this. You might be going, this keeps going not just up, it gets closer and closer and closer to this asymptote. And this gets closer and closer to the asymptote. Will these eventually crisscross? No, because when do either of these touch either of these asymptotes? Never. They never touch. They get really, really, really close, but they never ever touch it. So that's a one-to-one function. Okay, we're done for today.
I love showing when I'm helping my younger siblings